Hello everyone, and welcome back to Candy Cyclism. The Tour de France is entering its decisive phase, and all eyes are on Paul Seixas. With only 5 stages remaining and just 20 seconds separating him from the podium, can the young Decathlon CMA CGM rider overcome the pressure and deliver a stunning performance? Let's dive right in. After listening to Paul Seixas share his thoughts, Candy truly feels that the Tour de France is no longer just a contest of physical strength. The closer the race gets to Paris, the more it becomes a battle of mental toughness, perseverance, and resilience. In my opinion, this is what truly separates a good rider from one capable of competing for the very top positions. This story highlights an undeniable reality. During the final week of the Tour, the difference between success and failure can be measured in mere seconds, making the psychological pressure even more intense. I completely agree with this perspective because a single lapse in concentration or one poor decision can erase 3 weeks of relentless effort. What impressed me most is that Paul Seixas did not exaggerate his situation. He admitted that his physical condition remains excellent and that his legs are still strong enough to keep fighting. However, he also acknowledged that the greatest challenge is mental rather than physical. To me, this is an incredibly honest admission. Many people assume that the Tour de France is primarily a test of endurance, but in reality, psychological pressure quietly wears riders down more than anything else. A first-time Grand Tour competitor must maintain complete focus for nearly 3 weeks while facing high speeds, demanding terrain, and constant pressure from the overall standings every single day. Not every young talent is capable of handling such an enormous challenge. I truly respect the way Paul Seixas faces these difficulties instead of making excuses or avoiding them. Comparing the physical and mental aspects of Paul Seixas' performance, I believe that his mindset is now the deciding factor. Physical fitness can be built through months of preparation before the race, but the ability to handle pressure is something that can only be developed through experiences like the Tour de France itself. To me, this is a lesson that no training program can ever fully replace. That is why the fact that Paul Seixas is currently 4th overall, only 20 seconds away from the podium, is already an impressive achievement. In my view, a 20-second gap is neither huge nor insignificant. It is close enough to inspire hope while also serving as a reminder that every mistake during the remaining stages could come at a heavy cost. Another aspect that deserves attention is Paul Seixas' reaction after the crash that forced Florian Lipowitz to abandon the race. Instead of celebrating the fact that he moved up 1 place in the general classification, he expressed sympathy for his rival. I find this incredibly admirable because it reflects true sportsmanship. Professional riders want to win through their own abilities, not because another competitor suffers an injury. I completely agree with that attitude, as victories are far more meaningful when they are earned on merit. At the same time, Florian Lipowitz's accident serves as another reminder that road cycling is an inherently dangerous sport and that rider safety must always remain the top priority. In the battle for the final podium place, Isaac Del Toro remains Paul Seixas' direct rival. A 20-second deficit is certainly manageable, especially with several mountain stages still ahead. However, I also agree with Paul Seixas' own assessment that Isaac Del Toro is an exceptionally strong competitor. In addition, having champions such as Remco Evenepoel and Tadej Pogacar in the race makes the fight at the front even more intense. Experience clearly favors these established stars over Paul Seixas. Yet I believe that youth sometimes brings fearlessness, ambition, and a willingness to take calculated risks that even seasoned veterans must respect. I cannot say with certainty that Paul Seixas will finish on the podium, but I genuinely believe he has every chance to surprise everyone if he continues racing with the same composure and consistency. I also really appreciate the part about the French fans. Their passionate support undoubtedly provides tremendous motivation for Paul Seixas. Every cheer from the roadside can give riders the extra strength they need during their toughest moments. At the same time, I completely agree with Paul Seixas' appeal for spectators to keep a safe distance. Passionate support is wonderful, but crossing the line can endanger both the riders and the fans themselves. In my opinion, this is an important and responsible reminder that every cycling fan should remember. To me, Paul Seixas' closing statement, "There are 5 days left to fight. I'm more ready than ever to fight," is the most inspiring part of the entire story. I especially admire this mindset because it reflects determination without arrogance. He did not claim that he would definitely secure a podium finish. Instead, he simply affirmed that he is ready to fight until the very end. In my view, that is the true mentality of a professional athlete. In conclusion, I believe Paul Seixas is facing the greatest opportunity of his career so far. Standing just 20 seconds away from the Tour de France podium, every possibility remains open. If he can maintain his physical condition, manage the growing mental pressure, and make the most of the remaining mountain stages, he has every chance of producing a remarkable surprise. Whatever the final outcome may be, Paul Seixas' performance at this year's Tour de France has already proven that he is one of the brightest young talents in professional cycling. From my personal perspective, even if Paul Seixas ultimately falls short of the podium, his journey will still deserve tremendous recognition. What matters most is not only his final position in the standings, but also the way he has matured throughout the race, respected his competitors, remained humble, and continued fighting despite the immense pressure. Those are the lasting values that the Tour de France represents. And perhaps the invaluable experience he gains this year will become the foundation for even greater achievements in the future. What do you think? Can Paul Seixas secure a place on the Tour de France podium? Share your prediction in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to Candy Cyclism, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news from the world of professional cycling. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.